Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World of Wrestling. This channel has been around since 2015. I have spent week after week doing reviews on Raw and SmackDown on and off. After it got worse and worse, I just eventually stopped doing them because I didn't see the point of this at all. You guys would just hear me rant and rave about the same exact thing over and over and over again. We have finally come about to a Major League Wrestling promotion where we are finally getting legitimate wrestling. A fucking wrestling entertainment production by a company that cares about professional wrestling. Now, do I expect week after week to get superb pay-per-view type quality wrestling, or expect to have a 5-star clinic on every single match, or have every episode be absolutely amazing? Of course not. That is too much to expect from any wrestling organization. They have their days off, and they have their days on. To start things off, they stepped on the right foot. They went with the right foot on this one. They are in the right direction where they need to be for this Wednesday night Warfest with NXT. I honestly was missing NXT. I really was trying to be able to watch NXT, and I just couldn't. Because I wanted to sit and watch NXT from beginning to end. They're the only thing on WWE programming that gives me legitimate wrestling that I can be entertained by. Unfortunately, I can't be on two different channels at the same time. It is not possible. So, of course, guys, you will get my other opinion on NXT tomorrow night, on Thursday night, when they make it available on the WWE Network. Right now, let's discuss AEW's Dynamite event that occurred here tonight on October 2nd of 2019. We kickstart the show with the Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. This matchup was fucking entertaining as hell. You got everything going for you. One, they give you a video package to make this match feel like a pay-per-view type match, which I kind of wish they would have done with some other matches on this card. You know, like Pac-Man and Hangman Page going at it. I think that would have deserved a video package for us to be able to see. But I mean, there's no major hostility going on between Pac-Man Page, or I keep saying Pac-Man Page. Not Pac-Man either. Between Pac and fucking Hangman Page, we don't see any, major issues between the two characters right now. So, granted, that's okay. This deserved that because this was an opportunity for someone to take the spot of Cody Rhodes. Either Cody Rhodes was going to lose his spot or retain the spot to face Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship at Full Gear on November 9th. Which, by the way, if I have the money for $50 to pay for this pay-per-view, I am definitely doing it and providing you guys the review the same night that it ends. If not, I'll review it online and catch it on Sunday night. Because either way, this pay-per-view is definitely going to get its review. Most definitely. I am looking forward to this. I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder what other matches they're going to add on to the card. It should be very entertaining to see how things work out. Now, this matchup was back and forth. There was everything these two guys did was non-stop. There was moonsaults off the top rope. There was the disaster kick by Cody to end the matchup. And Cody Rhodes was kicking ass. Cody Rhodes ends up getting the small package and getting the 1-2-3. I'll tell you one thing. I like what Cody Rhodes is doing right now with this company. Every person he has put himself up against that's a new upcomer that people are not familiar with, that are very young, like Darby Allin, and now this guy, Sammy Guevara, who only had one match at Fight for the Fallen. He puts them, he may beat them, but he gets them over to the audience, whether they win or lose. They look great even in defeat, and they look unbelievable. I actually am surprised that Sammy Guevara has this heel-like reaction by the crowd, because quite frankly, I don't see him, he doesn't give off that heel-like image to me. He's more along the lines of a guy who is, the underdog trying to earn his right into being, he reminds me of Mustafa Ali, to be honest with you. He reminds me a lot of Mustafa Ali in a lot of ways. The only difference is Sammy Guevara is actually a lot taller than Mustafa Ali, but their attitude, their wrestling move sets remind me of the same exact thing in similar assets, and I find that very good. And I kind of hope that Guevara goes on a winning streak. I think this would be your guy to put in the mid-card championship run. I think he would be the person you want to have face for a mid-card title. I think that would be a great idea for him, especially with him being only 23 years old. The other man that I definitely would like to see in that same spot would be MJF. He is definitely somebody who needs to be placed in the mid-card for right now because he's so young. Unfortunately, his matchup didn't go very well, not because he did anything wrong, but his opponent, Brandon Cutler, at the end really struggled to do a high-flying maneuver off the top rope. He kind of jiggled on the ropes and lost his footing and then fell and I think sprained his knee. And that match kind of just went awry pretty much, and Maxwell Jacob Freeman just wins the match by submission with the Salt of the Earth type submission hold. And that's pretty much what he does in this matchup. Overall, the matchup was okay. It wasn't horrible, but Brandon Cutler kind of had an off opportunity. He was kind of off on this opportunity to shine and show off his skills. He really kind of just fucked everything up, quite frankly. Fortunately, he didn't really impress me any, but maybe he was just having an off night. Hopefully, he gets another opportunity. He shines a little bit better than what he did here tonight, because tonight, Brandon Cutler did not cut the mustard to me. But the match wasn't a bad match. It just, that last portion of the match where he fucks up, that's where it really killed it for me. By the way, I forgot to mention, after Cody Rhodes does win his match, Jericho blindsides him and beats the hell out of him, which was fucking brutal as shit. And not to mention, a few code breakers and a belt to the fucking head. Chris Jericho is portraying a great heel, probably the best heel he's ever portrayed in his career. The only one I can possibly think of that was a great heel that Jericho portrayed was back in 2008 with him and Shawn Michaels. It was kind of a stale character, but still he looked like a very intimidating dick that you could absolutely despise and boo at a moment's hesitation because of how much of a fucking asshole he really was portraying on television. So that's just all I'm going to say on that. But other than that, this Chris Jericho is probably the best one because he's got charisma. He's got the old school Chris Jericho with the Y2J Ayatollah of rock and roll type gimmick, with a new gimmick also installed with his character that he's portraying on TV. So I actually like that kind of mixture of what the two characters he's portraying as one, all mixed together as one thing. So we get back, and Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are interviewed at ringside by a YouTuber who is now hired by AEW, by the way. One lucky son of a bitch. His name's Chris Van Vilt, I believe it was his name was called, or what he's named. But quite frankly, guy's a lucky son of a bitch to be just a YouTuber interviewing other big names in professional wrestling, and then one day AEW just decides to give him a call and give him an opportunity to work for their company. I wish I had that opportunity. Oh shit. Would I do anything to give up my job to work in a fucking wrestling company at this point? God, do I hate being a telemarketer. It fucking sucks. So, yeah, we go ahead, we get an interview with Kevin Smith talking about Chris Jericho being in Jay and Silent Bob reboot and how excited they were to have him on the show. He actually portrays a heel, which he's doing now in professional wrestling. So, there you go on that. Not much to it. We then had some kind of interference during this, and that was by the tag team that I forgot. Jack Evans and Angelico. They actually come out of nowhere and they interfere on this interview with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob, and they kind of just have a back and forth confrontation verbally, and then the private party come out and they kind of back them up and, you know, tell Jake Evans and Angelico to kind of back off, and they hand Kevin Smith and Jay some beers, and they kick back and relax and watch the rest of the show. So that's pretty much all that there was in that segment overall. We get a breakdown of the AEW World Championship Tag Team Tournament match, which I kind of wish they would have had in the fucking gosh darn Women's Championship match. I think the ending to this matchup, I mean, it was great, it was entertaining, and so forth. Really, some really good stuff that happened during that match, which I'll get into. But, quite frankly, Rosa, I forgot her fucking name, holy shit. The bigger chick, what's her name? Nyla Rose, she's like a fucking... She's like a Braun Strowman, big person, female version of Braun Strowman. Kicks people's asses, and really hard to beat, but ends up getting beaten every fucking time she's in the ring. She's been beaten in multiple pay-per-views I've seen her on. She's not being portrayed very well, and she doesn't look very dominating or even an intimidating factor in this company right now. I don't even see the point of her even being in the world title picture for the women's division, but that's just me. So we later on have SCU have a promo video where Scorpio Sky does his best Barack Obama impersonation with Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian acting like a Secret Service guards. The promo turns to dumping on Washington, D.C., and Daniels and Kazarian take over to put the group over. Then live in the arena, SCU are interviewed on stage. Sky says the big question for them has been which two of them will compete in the tournament, and they've decided he'll sit this one out and let the four-time tag team champs take charge, which was Kazarian and Christopher Daniel, which I think is the best option for them to go with. Scorpio Sky, I think he's a guy that you could push into the mid-card championship run right now. He's another one I would like to see in a mid-card title once they come up with one, if they do, that is. I hope they do. If anything, I wouldn't have a problem with them coming up with a six-man tag team championship. I mean, six-man tag team wrestling is a very idle thing to professional wrestling. If you don't believe me, the fucking six-man tag team match was the main event of the night. So, you know, whatever. It was the main event of the show. So, I mean, I don't see what would be the big problem with them going with a 6-man tag team championship belt added to the mix of their titles that they carry. Lucha Brothers interrupt, and Rey Fenix gets on the mic. He just wants to remind them of one thing. They're the best tag team in the universe, and Pentagon Jr. adds in a reminder that he's Ciro Mindo. He missed Daniels after and we got a brawl. The referees and security try to break it up. Road agent Dean Malenko on hand. We go back as they get separated. I'm reading this all off of cage side seats, by the way. We get a backstage a look into the locker room with Chris Jericho and the team formerly known as LAX, Santana and Ortiz. So we come back from break. We have Hangman Page versus Pac. So Pac slides back into the ring after they kind of had Pac walk out of... I don't know why I keep calling him Pac-Man. It's so fucking stupid of me. Pac kind of was outside the ring during the break, and he comes back into the ring. High up kick, trading forearms with Page and standing firm in the middle of the ring. Adam gets the better of the exchange, but gets caught by a rolling soul butt off the ropes. Trading kicks, discus lariat from the hangman, takes the bastard down. More forearms from Page, chops Pac, bails, and meets him with a front kick on the floor, but soon gets thrown into the barricade. Hangman throws him into another barricade after. Pac gets him in the ring, and Adam immediately comes off with a suicide dive to take him out. Up on the apron, the bastard clobbers him, but Page gets in the ring after and hits a fall-away slam. Kip up, fired up, running, shooting star press, only 2. Straight suplex, float over, forearm to the back of the head. A lot of the action was back and forth. No man looked like they had the better of the other until the end, where we finally get, just to skip through all the play-by-play commentary that's written on this page, we pretty much get Pac finishing the match with a submission hold to Hangman Page with an immediate ruling by the referee to call for the bell. Now, we didn't get a submission. I mean, we didn't get a tap out or even any kind of situation where he said he quit. It's just that he had nowhere to go, number one. And number 2, he wasn't really responding all that much. So I guess apparently the referee felt it was best to just call the match and say the match was over. Which, truthfully, he was in a situation that left him with no way of escaping this maneuver. So I gotta give credit to Earl Hebner on this one. This was not one of those Montreal screwjob type deals. But we pretty much got a finish where the brutalizer, the submission hold of Pac, gets to win, and that's pretty much it. Nyla Rose versus Riho for the AEW Women's World Championship. This matchup, really, I gotta say, it was a David versus Goliath type of situation, and David gets the win over Goliath. That's pretty much it. Match was probably the crowd reactions weren't as high until like almost the end of this matchup. This match really did not get a lot of attention by the fans. I got to admit this. NXT and WWE's women performance, and when I'm referring to women performers on the WWE, I'm referring to their top bill wrestlers on the main roster. NXT women wrestlers are far superior than either one, AEW or WWE. The women in the fucking NXT division, I cannot wait to see how Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae did their match on NXT tonight. Because that I'm definitely looking forward to, because that is a better match than this piece of shit was. No offense. I mean, anyone like this match? No, I don't feel offended. I don't think you're an idiot for liking the match. The match wasn't horrible, but if you compare it to another league, like another promotion, like NXT's women's division, this is not going to top NXT's women wrestling. I'm sorry. It just ain't in the cards for AEW when it comes to the women's division. They are not better than NXT. Bottom line. Rio picks up a victory, running knees to the face, and to win the women's championship. After the match was over, she was trying to be interviewed by another Japanese wrestler who I've seen before. He's a full-blown entertainer. He's not really that great of a wrestler. He's more along the lines of like WWE cringeworthy type shit. And Rio was attacked by Nia Rose, and Kenny Omega comes out and tries to save her and pretty much tells her the hell, stop doing this shit and leave her the hell alone, pretty much. And that was pretty much the end of that segment. The Young Bucks enter for our main event. We go to break. We come back, and the match gets started. Jericho gets his entrance. LAX gets their entrance, and so on and so forth. Let me go on record to say this. This matchup really wasn't going to get you, this matchup really was used to hype up the match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, because within 5 minutes of this matchup, we had Jon Moxley show up right out of nowhere, and these two went to a full-on brawl. Why there was no disqualification to this, I have no idea. I don't know why the referee wouldn't have called DQ to this. Fucking Jon Moxley was not part of this match whatsoever, but we did continue on with the match, which I didn't quite get. I thought that was a little bit of a logic gap here. But, I mean, at least give us I guess they felt it was just give us a fucking match and let us have some fun with it and be entertained for the next remaining bit of time that was left, which was 15 minutes left over. Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, they battled out throughout the entire crowd. We really got a nice hype up. We got Jon Moxley getting the advantage over Kenny Omega somewhat. He did go ahead and hit the Death Rider, the Dirty Deeds maneuver. I'm calling it Dirty Deeds. I like the Dirty Deeds name for it instead of the Death Rider. But Death Rider is okay to me too. But I just prefer the Dirty Deeds because that was more along the lines of the US version of his finishing maneuver. And he puts Kenny Omega with a Dirty Deeds right through a glass coffee table, and the entire thing breaks. Both of them laying in glass. Wow, can you get fucking crazier than that? I mean, that is just fucking insane. To go about on your opening night and you're going to go about doing things in a pay-per-view type of SK type of way and just make Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega go through glass table, that's fucking nuts. You don't see that on NXT nor WWE. But then again, this is TV 14 for actual adults. If you notice in the crowd, you don't have a bunch of fucking nerds in the crowd. At least not most of them are nerds. Most of them are just average Joe everyday people that came there to get entertained by professional wrestling, and that's it. And that's what we got here on this show. So we get back from commercial break after the little tussle between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. We have Ortiz beating up Mac Jackson down, and he makes a tag to Santana, straight suplex, quick tag back to Ortiz, off the ropes. Matt back body drops Santana to the floor and spears Ortiz. Back inside, double teams all over Jackson. Ortiz with a falling headbutt to finish the sequence, only a 2. Jericho legal, lion salt. Matt gets the knees up. Santana in. Matt with a Northern Lights suplex, rolling it into a second, and then he hits a double 1-1. Both members of EYFBO. He tags in Nick and clear the apron. Forearms and kicks for everybody as he fights EYFBO off by himself. Taking the fight to the floor, Springboard Senton, Atomico, tag to Matt. They got Santana where they want him, but Jericho hits a code breaker on Nick Jackson. Yeah, that was pretty fucking brutal. I saw that during the commercial break while they had a double screen. Afterwards, EYFBO running roughshod over Matt and Jericho, lines him up. Jericho and I'm just going to say Santana and Ortiz win by pinfall with the Judas effect from Jericho on Matt Jackson. Post-match, Cody runs in and attacks Jericho, just getting some little bit of revenge of what happened earlier in the night, which made absolutely perfect sense. And the best thing is they didn't do it in the middle of the match, they did it after the match was over. He puts boots to him until Sammy Guevara comes down for a low blow. Dustin makes the save. Snap suplex, snap scoop, power slam, and a low blow. Jack Swagger attacks Goldust and hits his high angle spinning spine buster. Lariats for everybody from Swagger bomb. The heels pile the defeated baby faces in the middle of the ring and stand tall. They drag the Timekeeper's podium into the ring. Swagger picks Dustin up, Dr. Bomb into the podium, and they drag Cody to his feet, and Jericho slaps him a few times, Judas effect, and the heels stand tall as the show goes off the air. That is pretty much what we get here at the end. To me, it looks like Jericho is forming an army against the Elite. That's what the storyline here looks like to me from what AEW is trying to portray to its audience. Which I'm totally fine with. If they want to do a Survivor Series type of gimmick, or, you know, some kind of like 5-on-5 tag team match elimination type style, and they want to do their own version of Survivor Series, by all means. I'm pretty sure they could do a better job than what WWE is doing at this point if you want to do a comparison between the two promotions. But quite frankly, decent show, very entertaining, had a lot of good segments here. There was some boring ones, I will admit that, but overall, majority of the show, it had good points to it. There was a lot of things worth watching on this show for 2 hours. Now, we're going to see what AEW falls into in this whole situation. Let's see if they pulled out the same exact type of show. I'm pretty sure they did. I have no doubts in my mind. That's why they are the best show of WWE. They're the best brand in WWE. They're the only reason why people are even remotely interested in what WWE has to offer off of the WWE network. Anyway, guys, hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And I thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.